House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Welcome to House to Home, everybody. As we do each and every Tuesday, I'm Jason, she's Gina, she's Liz, and we are your brain trust of bringing you information that you need to do and you need to have when you put together that perfect deal. And that's what we're going for. We're going for absolute perfection. And ladies, this is an ongoing series. As we said last week, we were talking about some of your efforts to reach out to our brothers and sisters in the Palauan community and potentially even to schools to educate people about the home buying process and about the equity you get with real estate ownership and moving forward. Now, Gina, we're actually taking this a step further now because we're going to have a series of iterative lessons to really get people on board about what they need to know.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so where are we going this week?
I think we wanted to talk about the banking process. So I just did a check on how many houses are currently available. And right now we only have 13 active houses currently available. And there's 146 condos currently available. So if you're looking to purchase, Gina and I are going through different series, but of course the first step would be the bank. Your first step would be to go to the bank, and not all banks are created equal. We wanted to let people know, which banks do you normally bank with? And then I think you should start there because you've already established your credibility with the bank that you're banking with, and they know your background in terms of your banking with them, whether it be checking and savings. But the difference would be, do they have the loan types that you're looking for? Because not all banks are created equal. They all have different loan types, which Gina will go into. One of the things I think you should do is try to find out what is your credit score before you go to the bank, just to get an idea. Now, they will not pull your credit score right away until you're ready to put in your application and go through the process. But there are free credit scores. Be careful when you go. Some loan types require that. Some loan types will probably do like 600 something, 720 is your basic credit score that you want to, check on. But I think start there, get your last 2 years tax return and your last 2 pay stubs. The different banks right now, again, I want to emphasize, have different loan types. Sometimes they have the first time home buyer. Sometimes they have the VA loans, the RD loans. There's so many different types and different interest rates for different types of loan. We don't want to recommend one bank. We want to tell you, hey, these are all the different banks, the local banks out here that you should check on. Again, it's all dependent on the interest rates they offer and the different loan types that they have to have available.
We always say, like, best thing you can do is, the song says, my mama told me you better shop around, right? And it's like, if you're buying a car, you go to the different dealerships and see what quote they're giving you. Basically, in this transaction, the banks are appealing to you. They want to make their pitch to you why you should choose them.
That's correct. And if you're already with them and they have the loan type you're looking for, I would recommend you stick with them because you're kind of like a client. They want to take care of you. And, some offer the personal banking. It just depends on your financials, of course.
Okay, Gina, I have a question for you because in all the years we've been doing this show, we tend to talk about, like the banking aspect of acquiring a home and, making sure that you can get that mortgage all set up the right way. And we always talk about, okay, first time home buyers, the newlywed couple who just graduated from college and are like maybe 22, 23, or, people that are, mid-management, they're in their mid-30s. What's the oldest person you've ever seen get a mortgage? Like, have you ever seen Manamco go out and apply for like a mortgage or, retirees?
So, yeah, absolutely. All the time. And of course, we don't base it on age or race or anything like that. But we have had retirees come in for one reason or another, and they've wanted to get a mortgage. Maybe, I've had them come in for themselves. I've had them come in to help other family members. So, and it's not based on your age at all. So that's a good thing. It's really based on income and debt.
There's a very good pro tip. from you right there. If your credit, say you're a young person and your credit is, maybe you bounced a couple checks in college. I'm going to plead the fifth on whether I did that or not when I was at UOG freshman year, right?
Your income, Jason, but your income is the
Yes.
critical part because
But
the bank want to know what is your monthly income and can you sustain a loan?
But like
That's-
Gina was just saying, right, Liz, if you are someone with like really, really stable credit and say like you're somebody's grandma or Nina, you could also lend your reputation to the benefit of that person whose maybe credit isn't so stellar, and you might be able to work something out there, right?
Yeah, but let's say you've already selected the lender you're going to go with, okay? Most people that start working with us, they know that they want to get a mortgage, but what they don't understand is there are different products out there. They're all mortgages, but there are different products. I would say once you select which lender you're going to go with, when you go in there, you explain to them what you're looking for exactly. Like if you know you want a loan that will cover 100% of the cost of the house, then tell them that. Let them know I'm looking for a loan product that will cover 100%. Why is that important? Number one, because not all the lenders offer, it's called the rural. There are two loan products that will cover 100%. One of them is the VA loan, which you have to have been in the military or are in the military now to use the VA loan. And the other one is called for the oldies but goodies like me and Liz, it used to be called the Farmers Home Loan Product, but now the new name for it is Rural Development or RD. Everybody says RD. Basically, those are the two loan products. They're mortgages, but those are the two mortgages that will offer 100% of the purchase price. So you go to the bank, there's no down payment requirement. You get 100% if you qualify. And so both loan products have a qualification process. So with VA, you have to have been in the military or you have to have served or you're in the military now. With the RD product, you have to be a first-time buyer. And it also says that you cannot currently own real estate, but I have seen people who own land and they've proven to RD that I can't build on my property. It's not buildable. And RD has given them a waiver.
Now, just for me, I also use RD as my own kind of like acronym. I call that like rookie deal because you previously cannot have, like you said, you cannot have previously owned land, or you can't have any previous like real estate transaction. So I mean, this is like a really good first time setup.
Yes. I mean, RD has definite guidelines, but that's the thing. You go to the lender that offers that product and you tell them, listen, I'm looking for 100% type of loan. And they'll ask you questions to qualify you for one of those two. The first time home buyer loan, which is another mortgage, that requires anywhere from 3% to 10%. But the real product that's called first time home buyer loan is a 10% product. You put 10% of the purchase price, they give you 90. And then there's the FHA loan and different other loans that require 3% down. So most people are probably going to want the 3% down. I know I would. If I can qualify for that, why would I want the 10% down? Let me have the 3% down. The only time I would see people saying, no, you know what? I'm willing to put a bigger down payment. I'll do an 80% loan, 20% down, or I'll do the first time home buyer product. That mortgage is because they're trying to reduce their monthly payment. Mm-hmm. And that's the other factor. Once you decide which mortgage you want, then you kind of have to look, okay, Mr. Loan Officer, Miss Loan Officer, what's my monthly going to be? And then you kind of take a step back and ask yourself, can I comfortably make that mortgage loan amount can I pay that mortgage amount every month and be comfortable? If your answer is yes, well, can I pay a little bit more? I mean, can I put a little bit more down? If your answer is no, you make adjustments, but that's what a good loan officer is going to do for you. They're going to show you all the products. They're going to go through that process. Okay, if you borrow this much, the current interest rate is this much, you're going to have to pay X amount for us to give you that loan, but your monthly mortgage payment is going to be this much. And that's what these products, you got to kind of sit down and shop around And that's what Liz was encouraging you to do. Find the lender, shop around for that, and shop around for the right mortgage.
And probably, Liz, as far as timing, you probably don't want to be, having your mind, okay, I know I'm going to change jobs 2 months from now. Because like you said, you have to have your previous 2 check stubs. And the bank is also going to look for longevity and consistency.
Yes, and what we sometimes do is when we meet with people, we ask them certain questions. What are you currently paying for rent? Is that what you're comfortable with? And Gina and I can do a calculation that if you're paying $1,500 a month, what does that look like for a loan type? And so that at least we give them some guidance that when they go to the bank, they'll have an idea what to tell the loan officer. Or they start with the loan officer and say, hey, this is all I can pay. And they work the numbers to say, okay, you only qualify for 300,000 or 400,000. But Gina and I want to emphasize this process in the beginning is so critical, because what you don't want to do is put the cart before the horse, start to look at houses. And then in the end, you're so disappointed because the house you want is currently available, but your loan type or your budget will not fit, the purchase of that particular home. So all the steps in the beginning is critical. So you know which direction you're going to go.
You have to know what you can afford, basically. Yeah. And oh gosh, and my heart goes out to like those young couples who already have kids, and they go and they look for a bunch of houses, and the kids are saying, Daddy, this one's like #1, and the wife is like, okay, this is where we got our heart set, and then you meet with your loan officer, and they're like, it's not going to work out. I can't imagine how hard those conversations are.
Gina and I get a lot of calls from people that, oh, I'm just curious, I want to know. Call us. We're happy to give you whatever information in terms of what it looks like, in terms of the price, what your monthly payments would be, etc., based on our calculations. But we always say it's the loan officer, because if you only give Gina and I tidbit of information, not the complete picture, then it messes up the whole number system. It's not going to work.
Like my late grandmother always said from my dad's side, honesty, nay.
We can help better when we're all honest with each other. Absolutely. And Jason, you're so right. That was one of the things that, so when my husband and I were first looking at real estate, that was my rule. Don't bring the kids. Because once they start going through the rooms and saying, this is my room. No, this is my room.
Yep.
It disappoints them too when it's like, no, honey, we're not going to get that house. We're going to keep looking. And they're like,
kids emotionally move into the house the minute they get on the front lawn.
Yeah, that was my rule. The kids can't go.
Tina, isn't it funny? Because sometimes we've taken people out to show and they have their children. But the interesting part, I've had it where they ask the kids, and these are little youngsters, do you like it? How do you feel? And I'm like, that's terrible. If the kid is so clear, this is the house.
Have either of you ever seen a situation, I'm sure you have, where the kids actually said, we're not feeling it. This ain't the one.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go. From the mouths of babes flow words of wisdom, as they say.
And Jace, of course I imagine that it's just as important to the children as it is to the parents. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is it's a family decision. I remember the last house my husband and I bought. I really wanted the house, but my husband did not. He was like, no, we're not getting this place. So the first thing I did after school is I threw the kids in the car and took them there. Because after they saw the house, my husband was stuck.
There you go. Hey, you can use it. Okay. Little bit of Miss Gina's business tactics and everything. Use the kids as leverage. They're great negotiators too. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we go, ladies, I do want to dovetail on something we talked about last week, because when we're talking about the loan application process, right? I know some people like our Palauan brothers and sisters that you guys interacted with a couple weeks ago, talking to them about the process. What about if you're not a Guam-born citizen here? Maybe you moved here. You're not you're not from Guam.
Yes,
You've only gotten
yes,
like maybe
yes.
5 or few years here. What are the loan stipulations or some of the considerations for people that maybe just came here a couple of years ago?
Well,
So,
number
so
one, go ahead, Gina.
yeah, I mean, if you have the immigration status to be on Guam, so it starts with that. If you're going to get a loan, then you have to have, the bank is going to ask you what immigration status gives you the right to be here. Because of course, what you're trying to do is we're really borrowing someone else's money to acquire our home, and they need to know.
Very nice.
I don't know why that happened, Jace. I absolutely don't know why that happened. Anyway,
Hey, the perfect timing. The balloons came up.
yeah. So the lender needs to know that you have the means to stay on Guam, because if you don't, and you actually have to leave island for one reason or another, that is a risk that they are taking by giving you their money to buy the home. So
Yeah, if
so
you're
it
here on a
starts
work
with
visa,
that.
it's probably not going to happen, right?
Yeah. But Liz can talk about the other factor. I mean, we've had cash buyers.
Yes, we've had cash buyers, and if you're considered an alien and you have a green card, you're able to purchase. Aliens are able to purchase a residence in a U.S. Territory, or in the continental U.S. Many that come want to invest. So what they sometimes would do is, but because there's a particular tax, a FERPTA tax that's applied when they sell the property. And the only time they can take, and it's 15%, and the only time they can get that money back is if they filed their taxes. But going back to, for them to purchase, a lot of them open a corporation, and they utilize the corporation to own the property, a local corporation. So if you're coming here from Japan or from Korea, many of them would open a local corporation. And the good part is the local corporation pay taxes. They're part of our local community. So the taxes are applicable, the gross receipt tax, the property taxes, those are paid out of the corporation. So again, these are different ways to own property on Guam. If you're not originally from Guam, there are many ways, depending on what your objective is.
So kind of the underlying subtext of today's lesson, this was part 2 in an ongoing series, is, there are many different ways to secure that deal. And, I mean, ultimately you have to go through the bank, but I mean, it's not a, set in stone. Moses came down from, Mount Sinai with, the commandments of real estate financing on a tablet and everything. There are a lot of different ways that your bank will work with you to get this done. And as we've also learned, the kids can either work, in your favor or against it, as Gina shared.
That's right.
Very well done, Gina. That was a good job.
Yeah. We ended up moving in.
There you go. So I can't wait to see what we've got for part 3. So that's next week, everybody. Make sure to tune in right here on House to Home. Bye, ladies.
Bye, Jade.
House to Home, presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.